Hi everyone, and welcome to our course on Introduction to Statistics. The purpose of this short video is just to kind of give you a quick overview of the course, also to just run you through what's in Brightspace and also run you through the concept behind MindTap. All right. Now, you should be able to access all the information that you need for the course via Brightspace D2L, even if it means that you have to go outside for a particular resource, such as a file or folder or something like that. So let's just start off with looking at how the course is structured in D2L. So once you get in and you log in, if we look at the course homepage, this is basically just a video on what is MindTap, because we're using MindTap as the host for our course. Our course, and then we would actually log into the course right here. Now, to access MindTap, Cengage MindTap, you're going to need an access code. You could purchase the access code directly online when you go to register and create a new account, and that I think is about $99. But if you wanted the book and the code, you could pay $135, an extra $35, and then you could get the book as well. Some people could just work with an online textbook. Some people actually need to have a physical textbook. So the choice is yours, all right? It all depends on, and then I believe the access to MindTap is like for 2 semesters. I could be wrong, don't quote me on that, but I believe it allows you to access it for 2 semesters in case you didn't get through the course and then you want to do this again next year. Let's hope that you will get through the course, and so therefore that won't be an issue. Now let's go to the content. We have 12 items on the table of contents, starting off with a course outline, which you should read and make sure that you're familiar with it. How to access your MindTap course. In other words, if you want to access MindTap, you don't need to go and open a separate browser link. You just click on here and you will see MindTap course login page, or what is MindTap, which is the same link you saw earlier, and how to access your MindTap course. Now, this is actually how to accept the MindTap course is really when you're first going to establish your account. Once you've established the account, then you just go to the login link. You don't have to go back through how to access it. That is just for first-time users, right? Okay, and then of course this little video explains what MindTap is all about. Now, I would recommend that you download a free app for your personal devices, since we walk around with our cell phones or our tablets and so on. The app basically is a MindTap app from the iTunes Store or Google Play Store, and what it allows you to do is that once you are registered, it will let you see all of the assignments that you have to do. It could also send you alerts to let you know that an assignment is due, is coming up in a day or two. So it might be useful for you to have. Also, I think it allows you to do some practice quizzes, so it doesn't hurt to have that. Now, because it's an online course, I could lecture you online, and then we could set the lectures like once a week and try to get people to show up at that point in time. But rather than do that, I have pre-recorded the lectures, and they are available on a channel in YouTube. And so that way you could pace yourself. So technically speaking, we don't have to have a course or a physical course session every week. The course is structured week by week to allow you to pace yourself appropriately, but the lectures for each week are already pre-recorded. So then you watch those lectures, and then you begin to do some self-tests to make sure you understand the material. Once you understand the material sufficiently, you could go ahead and do the assignments. All right? And then you get instant feedback once you submit the assignment. You should know how well you've done on that particular assignment. The actual solutions to the assignment will become available by the end of the due date. But if you finish way before the due date, you could see your mark, but you won't be able to see the solutions until the actual due date itself. So the videos are there, and to access the videos, I've actually placed the link in the course outline. So if you're doing a particular topic, say chapter 3, you'll see the link right there, and I'll show you that shortly. Chapter 3, you just click on it, and then that would help you go directly to that YouTube video. From time to time, I will actually work some of the sample problems or the textbook problems that I've given you in the course outline. I want you to do those for you to test yourself, but I will be working some of these problems myself and making them available for you to actually check. So in addition to what I have in the video lectures, I will also do some additional problems and put them under periodic tutorials. So there's none there yet, right at this point. Sometimes when people are studying, they don't always necessarily want to go through the entire textbook. So I've taken the PowerPoint notes and make them available for you, which would then be basically the chapter in summary. And that allows you to sort of flip through it very quickly. What I would recommend as a study strategy for the course, and this was actually in discussion with a student that came up. In the past, I would say watch the videos. If you don't get enough out of it, go then take a look at the textbook and then attempt the practice problems. Well, in my discussion with the student, basically it was suggested that we flip that. And I think that that's a good idea, which is essentially take the textbook and read the chapter first. Get a broad sense of what's in there. You could either use the textbook or use the PowerPoint notes to kind of get us in. But you know, the PowerPoint notes doesn't really give you a narrative to explain things. But nonetheless, if you could actually go through the PowerPoint notes or the textbook and then have some measure of familiarization and then now go watch the video. So it's kind of like equivalent to you preparing before coming to a class, which is what I like about it. So typically your instructors will tell you, before coming to class, review chapter 3. And that's because they want you to have a certain amount of familiarity so that you can be engaged in a question and answer that could happen, or at least the material is not as foreign to you because you've already been exposed to it. So I think it's a good idea if it's possible to, first of all, just go through the chapter in the textbook or in your PowerPoint notes, and then secondly, watch the video. After you've done that, then I would then suggest that you now attempt the practice problems in MindTap, because you will see the solutions right there, or the problems that I have in the course outline, and you would have to wait for the solutions until I post them. All right? I don't want to put the solutions too far ahead of time, because then chances are you're not going to attempt to solve the problems. I want you to attempt to solve them. So I will put the solutions a little bit later for you. All right, so that's the tutorials, PowerPoint, formula sheet that you're going to need. In this case, this is an online course. You have access to the textbook, so you don't really need a formula sheet unless we were doing a face-to-face exam, in which case I put the formula sheet there so you could familiarize yourself with it as you go along. But it's kind of convenient. So if you have a copy of it as you're solving problems on the assignments, you don't have to go back and forth and turn pages of the textbook to find the formulas. They're right there on the formula sheet. As I mentioned, I've assigned some textbook problems for you to practice, and those problems are in the course outline. I'll show you the course outline shortly. And finally, in case you want to, rather than sending me individual emails, unless it is a personal matter that you want some privacy around, but if you have a general comment about a chapter that you didn't quite understand a particular topic, or you have a question about something, how something should be done, I want you to use this bulletin board. It's an electronic bulletin board called Padlet. And then what that does, it allows the rest of the class to see the questions that you pose. And when I pose an answer to that, it allows the rest of the class to also see it. So think about a bulletin board where you write a question, and then I come and then I provide an answer, and the entire class could actually see the question and answer. And also you could provide some feedback as well as to whether or not a particular lecture was topic was difficult and maybe you need some assistance, etc. It would be useful. All right. So it looks something like this. It's called Padlet. You may have used it in one of more of your other courses, but maybe not. So as you could see, these plus signs allow you to just add content. It's like a note. Think of it like on a notice board. You stick a note on there. So that's like adding a note or posting a note. So you could put some, and I have them divided into 3 areas. Lecture feedback. So on a particular topic, You could put the name as the topic. I'm just going to delete that. And so we could say the topic is ANOVA. And then you could say, I don't quite understand, da, 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 or there's, so you provide some feedback on the lecture, or the video did not explain such and such. Is it possible to get an expanded explanation of X, Y, and Z? So if we could do that, that would be helpful. All right. If you have specific questions, then you could post them here. And if you actually found some interesting facts or the application of statistics in the media or a news item that made strong use of statistics you want to share with the rest of us, please feel free to just add the link right here. You could add a link, you could add a picture, you could upload a file. So lots of interesting things you could do here. I quite like this tool. Okay, so it's called Padlet. And that's essentially how the course is structured in Brightspace. Okay, and so now what you need to do is just take a quick look at the course outline. And I have in here put essentially that office hours I did put from 2:30 to 4:30, but I'm going to switch that from, say, I believe it is from 1 to 4 or 12 to 3. So we're going to have a 3-hour time window. What I will do is you could either, if you're on campus, you could come to my office, or if you're off campus, you could actually Zoom me, right? By clicking on this link, and then I will leave the Zoom app open to then be able to answer your questions. So you could be in Alberta and have some office hours with me. All right. The topics that we're going to cover now, because it's an online course, technically speaking, you could finish the course in 3 weeks if you wanted to, or 6 weeks if you wanted to. What I've done is to break it down week by week to give you a standard schedule that allows you to pace yourself as if you were doing the course as a face-to-face course. So typically, if I was doing this as a face-to-face course, this is the order and the sequence and the pacing of the coverage of the topics for the course. And so if you use that, that helps you to finish the course by the end of the semester. But there's nothing stopping you from moving ahead, because once you go through the lectures and you understand them, you do the practice problems, do the assignment. All right? You do the assignment. Then you go to the next topic, you can move ahead, do the assignment. And so the only thing that I've sort of restricted is the tests that you have. I will keep it to a very narrow time window, which is, and then over a particular weekend. But the assignments, I will make them open, but they have a deadline, they have a due date. So which means that you could start them much earlier if you have covered the material already. And then you have this deadline by which you must submit the assignments. All right. So as I mentioned, you see the links to the videos, they're all there. These are problems that I would like you to practice from the textbook. Problem number 45, 48, 52, etc. as you go in through these topics to help solidify your understanding before you actually go ahead and do the assignments. All right. And then the online tests. Final exam will be an online test, as I mentioned earlier. Okay, so that's pretty much basically Blackboard, the course in D2L, not Blackboard, in D2L. All right. Now I'm going to see very quickly. Let's take a look at Cengage. So when you log in to Cengage, you will get into the course. This is your course right here. And the way in which the course is set up is as follows. So you will see this. I will begin to see your progress later on as you attempt the assignments. And then over here, we see the materials, such as your assignments, counting towards grade, the due dates, and so on. Now I have actually currently restricted them. This will unlock September 22nd, 7th, October 18th, and so on. But I will actually open them up earlier. So that way, if you finish the material, nothing's stopping you from going ahead and doing those assignments, okay? Then that just gives you an opportunity to get ahead of the game. I don't see why you shouldn't try to get ahead of the game if you certainly can. All right. So that's the assignments, and then of course the tests will be test 1, test 2 will be right there. So you have 2 tests, 5 assignments, and 1 final exam. We close that up. So the various chapters, what I've done is I've hidden all the sections of the chapters that we don't have to cover. Now, you could actually, if you look at this, so this topic right here, you will actually see this in your in your textbook. Let's just go back a little bit. Oh, sorry. Let's just look at this here, data sources, for example. Section 3.1, data sources. So if you go to your textbook, you'll actually see that section. You see that? The existing sources. But rather than reading that right here, so let's say you did not buy the textbook. If you bought a textbook, it's a lot faster. You could just read it right there. And then what you do is you go to MindTap to attempt the practice problems to see how well you understand it. But let's say you did not buy the textbook, so you have 2 options. One is to read it here section by section, right? Or, and the advantage to that is that I've only included the sections that I want you to read. So a chapter may have 10 sections. If I only want you to read 5, I've hidden 5 of them. So that way you would only see what is necessary. But if you look here on the right side, there's a full book. And that book is the identical book as the one that you purchase. And you could just go straight to the chapter. If it's chapter 3 we're dealing with, and if we're dealing with measures of location, we want to read about the mean, here we go, right? And you could sort of read the book right here. You see the examples and all of that sort of stuff. So you could either read the full book or read it section by section, but I will tell you, if you read it section by section over here, it's a little bit slower. So the fastest is to have a physical book, then second fastest is to look at the full book, and third fastest, well, slowest, is to actually do it right here. What the value of then going to, if you have a book and you could read everything there, well, you know you have to come to MindTap for your assignments, but also what's useful, let's go to chapter 2. I think you might find it a little better here. Summarizing data for quantitative variable. So this is where we see videos and practice. So in addition to my videos, you have MindTap giving you some of its own videos with structured tutorials. So that's one reason why I like this and I chose it, is because in addition to what I do, you even have additional videos, and then you could have some practice problems as well. All right. So at the end of the chapter, you could attempt some of these problems, drawing a histogram with certain bin sizes, etc., or doing a chapter review. That's also another useful part, is that you could go through and do chapter review, and then you could even try some of the exercises right here, as you could see the exercises. So if you actually answer this, then you could actually test yourself to see if you actually found this very same answer. So some of the questions in here actually have the answers, so that you could essentially check yourself and check your responses, see how well you've done. All right. And I believe the answers are provided for the even questions, like 46, 48, 50, etc. So just to reiterate, so this is MindTap, and then you will see your progress as you go along. So just to reiterate, that essentially you have all the material already there, the video lectures, the textbook, the assignments, the tests. I will open them up at the appropriate time. You could pace yourself. when you think that you're ready to do various parts of the course. The main thing is that you could do a lot of stuff ahead of time, just don't fall behind, because I don't want you to miss the deadlines for submission of assignments or for doing the tests and the final exam. These are the only things at a time. Everything else, you could actually move as fast as you can. Okay? So use the web board, the bulletin board, sorry, to provide me with some feedback, and so that I could answer your questions and others could go there and see what kind of feedback or even general comments I may have made about a particular topic. All right? So good. Let's hope that that gives you a good overview of the course in Brightspace and in MindTap. And essentially, I would just say, even though the course allows you that amount of flexibility, develop a schedule and set aside a fixed time when you will engage with the course. If you say, I will engage with this course on a weekly basis, since we're not fixing the date that we're meeting. If you say Thursday mornings work best for me, I have nothing on Thursday mornings, then Thursday morning becomes your time to do statistics. And then, so you actually, each person in the class could have their own schedule. Somebody might say, no, I do stats on a Saturday. That's the day that I will actually do stats. And so the topic for that week, I will cover it on that Saturday. So that's what I would like you to do. So give yourself some structure and follow the course outline. You will be fine. All right? Last year, 100% pass rate. So I am expecting about the same this year as well. Take care. Thank you.